All right, so where do we start? Well, the bench press is a fundamental strength training exercise. It's a pushing exercise. You develop your upper body pushing muscles, same as a press up, your pec major, your anterior deltoids, and your triceps, they're doing the work. Now, depending on all the variables, the type of bar, the type of grip, the incline, you can affect which muscles you want to emphasize. However, if you're new to bench pressing, I just suggest you go for a normal grip, which is normally between 1.3 and 1.6 times your shoulder width. So roughly speaking, 1.5 times around your 1.5 times wider than your shoulder. And you just go all the way down to your chest and all the way up. Now, it's much safer to do it in a power rack or a half rack like I've got, or using a spotter, some guy standing behind you. But you can do it very safely by yourself. But if you're training by yourself, try to have spotter arms, which means it stops you going all the way down and hitting your chest. If you don't have spotter arms, don't train more than a 7 out of 10 intensity. You can hurt yourself, particularly if you do things like declines or guillotine presses, which we'll talk about. So let me just show you how to get into the right stance first. Whenever you're lying down on a bench, you want to go for a 5-point stance. That means there are 5 points of contact pushing down into the floor. This will make you stable. This will make you safe. 5 points, left foot, right foot, 1, 2, left shoulder, right shoulder, 3, 4, back of your head, 5. That 5-point stance gives you that stable base. On top of that, you want to arch your back and imagine my hands are your scapula, your shoulder blades. You want to internally rotate. So you want to squeeze them in like you're grabbing a pencil. When you do that, we call it shoulder packed position. You'll feel your lats engaged to help maintain that shoulder position back and down. You'll be able to lift heavier weights, and also you put way less stress on the rotator cuffs, particularly when you're lifting heavy. So it's safer and you can lift more. So it's a no-brainer. Now, the way you start off, if you're new to this, always start off on a flat bench. It's not as good. It's not the best height, but it's good for starters and it's nice and safe. And it's where you want to start, to be honest. I would have your forehead or the back of your head in line of the bar, and then you lift the bar up and you want to hit the center chest, so the nipple line. And when you push up, you don't go straight up, you actually go back to where you came from. So what we call the bar path is a slight angle backwards. Again, we do this because you can lift more weight doing this. Now, in terms of tempo, obviously I only got a bar, so this doesn't really weigh anything. When you're warming up, just use a bar, but once you're getting a bit stronger and you're lifting half, 3/4, or your body weight or above, if you want size and strength, then I'd go for 2 seconds down and 1 second up. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. If you want to focus more on muscular endurance or lactic acid tolerance, I would do reps which last longer than a minute, and I'd go super slow, even pausing at the bottom and coming up. There's an interesting variation called a pin press, where when you've got spotter arms, you come down and you hold it for a second, then you drive up. They're really good for developing acceleration. Another way of developing acceleration is just going quick. And if you want to be a real show off and you don't care about personal safety, you can do a plyometric press, which is when you throw it and catch it. I normally wouldn't recommend this unless you're on a Smith machine, but it's kind of fun and it focuses the mind. Whoa. Very good for developing power, but a little bit scary, to be honest. Let's talk about heights. So, incline works more upper chest, but interestingly, your middle chest and lower chest still work just as much as flat. When you go super high, it becomes more shoulder. For most people, depending on the angle of your sternum, I'd say either 30 degrees or 45 degrees. Any FID bench, flat incline decline bench like this, will have 30 and 45. Flip between the two to see which is more comfortable. If you try 45 and it's just too much on your anterior delts, then go to 30. If 30, it just feels too much like flat and it's like you're not feeling your upper chest, go to 45. Play around. We're all different. We're all designed differently. There's no actual perfect way of doing bench. There's a perfect way for you, which we have to figure out, but there's no textbook perfect because we're all designed a bit differently. Decline, I'm not going to show you because it's a waste of time. I want to talk about different grips now. So standard grip is here. If I wanted to work more chest, I'd go wider, more triceps, go closer. Little caveat, when I train guys, particularly Hollywood guys who aren't going for a really bulky muscular look, but they want to have like a toned sexy look, we tend to do a lot of close grip incline because that gets more of that line down here. Particularly if you do on a low incline, you get more upper chest definition. So it's good if you want like the chest of like a fighter, for example. Fighters don't tend to have massive chests like bodybuilders, but they look really in shape. Same as like a surfer or an athlete. So yeah, if you're a guy and you want like a cheat code to looking more like you do loads of sport, close grip, low incline bench, beautiful exercise. Now, in commercial gyms, nearly always the only choice you have is an Olympic bar, which is 28 mils thick. It's between 6 and 7 feet long, pretty standard in America and UK, tend to be 20, in Asia they tend to be 15 kilos, but it's pretty standard, fantastic piece of kit. There are other bars you can get. These are known as specialty bars. There are many different specialty bars for deadlift bars and special cambered bench press bars and Swiss bars and earthquake bars and tornado bars and all kinds of stuff. I've got a few of these, so I'm going to show you what the point is. After the standard barbell, I would say, I actually think this is a better bar. This is called a cambered Swiss bar, but you don't normally play around with these until you're benching, like if you're a guy, like your body weight in bench press. I wouldn't really bother playing with anything else. But once you can do that, these are really good fun. This is a bit of a monster. This weighs 33.5 kilos. It's got lots of different grips. When I'm on a neutral grip here, I put less stress on my shoulder. So it's really good if I want to get the chest workout, but I've got a shoulder injury, for example. Or maybe I'm a tennis player and I don't want to overdo my shoulder muscles. A number of reasons. Or maybe I just want a break from doing normal bench press. Now, because it's cambered, when I hold it, if I go for the wide grip, I can go lower than I could do on a normal press. So I've got another few inches. That means I can get a deeper stretch. It feels a bit like a pec fly. So a pec fly is a fantastic old school, like muscle growth, like a mass building exercise for the chest. It's not really done as much nowadays. People complain that it injures them. A bit like running, and if you do it wrong, but it's a good exercise. But this, you can have best of both worlds because you're stretching out the side of the pecs and you're driving up. So some people call this a multi-bar. I call it some people call it a Swiss bar. I call it a Swiss bar. If you're going to get a Swiss bar or use one, a cambered Swiss bar is the gold standard. Next, other specialty bars you can play with. You could, it's not, I wouldn't recommend this, but it's fun to play with. This is an axle bar. Axle bars come from the world of strongman training. They're normally done for deadlifts, and basically they work your grip and finger tendons more than normal. But you can bench with them. A proper traditional axle bar will have no knurling. It's super smooth, so it feels really nice, particularly if you want to do wide grip and slide into close grip. You can't do that with a knurled bar, so that's nice. But the width of them means you won't be able to lift as heavy. 60 mils is particularly wide. Most are 50. I've got a 50 over in the corner, but that's irrelevant. I don't know why I told you that. But I'm not a big guy, so I've got quite normal size hands, not small but normal. For me, this is tough. So if I'm doing bench press, I haven't actually tried doing this with bench press for a long time, but there's no way I'll be able to lift more than 75% of my max with that wide grip position. So yeah, good if you want to get your grip stronger, good if you want to get your fingers stronger and just to mix it up. And another bit of kit which is more relevant, which I love, this I use with athletes quite a bit. It's called the earthquake bar. It's really good if you want to strengthen your shoulders. So if you're a racket sport competitor, if you've been injured and you don't want to be injured again in terms of shoulders, maybe you're a boxer, then this earthquake bar is fantastic. They're very specialist. They are very light. This only weighs 3 pounds, and you don't actually tie plates or put plates on the end. You actually tie a resistance band and normally hang kettlebells or dumbbells on the end. And what it does, it's designed to oscillate, particularly with the resistance bands. Everything wobbles around loads. So when you drive up, to sort of stabilize it is really hard. It sort of goes all over the place, and you have to use your rotator cuffs and your shoulder stabilizers to keep it still. I tried 60 kilos of this about 2 hours ago, and I'm not that strong. I can bench 90 pretty easily, but 60 on this killed me. So it's a really interesting toy. So if you ever see one of these in a gym, they're called earthquake bars, try it. It's humbling. All right, and finally, how much bench press should you do? Well, if you want to get better at it, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week. Twice a week is probably good enough. If you're a beginner, if you're more advanced, 3 times a week is ideal. Anything between 2 to 4 sets, anywhere between 5 and 15 reps is good. It's a bit woolly because the science is a bit woolly on this. What matters most is the intensity. If you push yourself hard and do, at least 100 reps or so, a couple hundred reps a week, you will grow, you'll get stronger, you'll get more powerful, you'll have more endurance, whatever you're training for. You could have all the science in the world. If you don't actually train hard, you don't push yourself to your limit, nothing's going to happen. So, take this stuff on board, use a bit of science, but actually just get into the gym and lift more. Practice the variations, play around with the heights. I told you decline is a waste of time. Don't take my word for it. Don't just Google it. Try it, see how it feels for you. Maybe it works for you. Maybe you're the one exception in the planet where a decline press is actually good for you. And yeah, anyway, hope you found this interesting. That's it. I'm not asking you to subscribe. I don't want you to look at any videos. I just wanted to share some information. See ya. Bye.